Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him do it because I find athletes who are more experienced and later on in their careers running personal best more inspiring than seeing a 17-year-old come through and run really quickly. So for me, this is what I'm all about. Let's go, Phil Norman. We're backing you the whole way. Let's see what we can do.
Okay, absolutely, let's go. So we bring you the start list then for our final race of the evening. Kurt Law, German athletes, starts on the inside. We've got Phil Norman then, who we've just spoken so much about. Parker Stokes of the United States, Victor Ortiz Riviera of Puerto Rico, Damian Vich of the Czech Republic, Daniel Marketaxxes of the United States, Simon Sundstrom of Sweden, Jacob Butera of Norway, Ben Buckingham, the Australian steeplechaser, and Duncan Hamilton now. Hamilton has the world standard, his personal best set earlier on this year, 8:13.76. He's currently ranked 28th in the world standings. Ben Buckingham is the next fastest on paper, and his PB is 8:15.14, so he is a smidgen outside that world standard. He's really going to be going for it. The Australian is going to want absolutely everything in this race because he knows just how close he is. He was 5th in the Commonwealth Games back in Birmingham in 2022. His PB was run just a few weeks ago, 9th of August, over in Belgium. So he knows that he's in form. He knows that he's got that potential today. So Ben Buckingham, keep your eye on him. He wears bib number 329. I do believe he's sat in that lead pack at the minute. We'll get a better look at that in a few moments. Yeah, there he is in the green and white strips, that 3rd place, including the pacemaker. And you've got Duncan Hamilton just behind him. He's the one that's run the standard already this year. And leading the way at the minute is Jacob Butera of Norway. So it's going to be a really interesting run. The wave lights seem to have disappeared already. So it's going to be interesting. The pacemaker's been asked for 66-second laps, which is of course on pace, and everybody seems to be happy following that at the moment. Phil Norman tucked in there in the red outfit towards the back of that chase group, so he needs that lead group. Sorry, so he needs to really make sure he stays in touch, stays in contention. But good to see everybody looking technically very, very sound at the moment. This is going to be one of the highest standard races that we've had this evening, aside from perhaps that men's A race. And you can see in the techniques as they come over this water jump. Take a look here, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, straight in, straight out. Energy preserved, momentum conserved. Moved straight on back onto the next dry barrier, and that's exactly what you want to see. And you can see even here, minimal stuttering. Athletes, if anything, lengthening their stride into these barriers as they make their way round. And it is, people love watching steeplechase because it is unpredictable, but it is a pleasure to watch when you've got athletes that are technically sound, and it makes it a really exciting and impressive event. And yeah, there's Phil Norman for you, 3:36 in the red on the inside, hugging the curve at the moment.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have the likes of Ben Buckingham here and building this quality. This race was obviously specifically requested. I mentioned earlier maybe we should see a couple more Brits in this field, but certainly a couple of Brits that wouldn't have minded jumping in and doing a bit of pacemaking to try and take them around as far as possible. I don't think the wave light was set up. I don't think I saw it start at this race. Obviously it's tricky with the wave light set around the outside of the track and us having to remove sections of the curb to keep those lights still going, so I don't think it was set up. But Ben Buckingham, somebody that has been chasing that standard as well. He set his personal best just 11 days ago over at the IFAM meeting in Audigham. He ran 8:15.14. He was somebody that's agonisingly come so close to that standard and has been chipping away. This would be a last chance salute for him as well. I wonder whether he'd get selected for the Australian team. Being outside of that qualifying time, we have the rankings points maybe, but this is an opportunity for rankings points as well if athletes want to get through that process as well. Norman there, just 3:36, tucking in at the back. Wants to try and keep on top of this here. So we're over halfway at this point, and we've still got the vast majority of the field all in contention, and now maybe just for a couple of them it's starting to hurt ever so slightly. So many things can change in a middle distance race like this. Athletes can surge through at the end. You've got to measure your effort into those barriers as well, because if somebody else in front of you is just starting to slow down, you could clip them. It's very messy if that happens, particularly around the water jump. How many times we see athletes come unstuck at this point, but we've got a good group. That's the main thing. We're trying to keep this pace honest. It seems like the wind has just settled down ever so slightly, Rosie, which is a good thing. So right now, they just need to keep where they're at, keep pushing the pace, and maybe if they fancy it, somebody else can take the lead from Jacob Butera, because he's been at the front of this behind our pacemaker and pushing the pace for so long, and Buckingham as well now just starting to slide down the field slightly.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting couple of minutes now. We've got literally 2 minutes left on the clock for this World Athletics Standard, so it's going to be both a very, very quick and a very, very slow 2 minutes, I feel, for these athletes and for us spectators as well. Phil Norman's still in the mix there. There's been a couple of times where I thought he might just be dropping off the back, but he's technically a very, very sound athlete, and he's made up ground coming over the barriers. And we lose the pacemaker now as we head into the final stage of this, and that looks to me like it is in fact Duncan Hamilton that has hit the front. In fact, it is Ben Buckingham, my apologies. Ben Buckingham, the one that is really going for it, the one that is so agonisingly close. This could be an evening of pure elation for him in the next minute and 15 seconds or so, and he got very close to that barrier, and you can see the rest of the field bunched up, just as you mentioned there, Scott. He perhaps got a little bit too close, couldn't quite hurdle it like he normally would, ended up putting his foot on it instead, and the rest of the field really bunched together there, and it just goes to show the knock-on effect that the steeplechase can have, especially when you are in a pack for this long. Often in steeples that we see them starting off in a pack in the early stage, and they string out pretty early on, but not tonight. And now Phil Norman really makes a surge round the outside. Could the Brit have his fairy tale here? Phil Norman moves up into second place. He's on the back of Ben Buckingham. He knows that Buckingham will be wanting to go for the standard, and he'll know that if he can stay with Buckingham, that's what it's all about tonight. And in fact, he goes past, he's blistering round now. Phil Norman is really going for it. He's giving them absolutely everything they've got, Scott. We've got 20 seconds or so left on the, sorry, my apologies, a minute and 20 seconds or so. Getting a little bit too excited, thinking it's 7 minutes, not 8. But Phil Norman coming round. You'll hear the bell in a few minutes, and he's leading the way. He's got Parker Stokes of the United States for company. Alongside him, Simon Sundstrom of Sweden. These guys really having to rally now, and unfortunately it looks like we've lost Ben Buckingham. Buckingham seems to have dropped off the pace, 400 metres to go, and he can still recover perhaps, but Buckingham really has dropped to the back of this pace group, and I wonder if it's just a little bit too much for him. But Phil Norman smells the success. He can almost have half a hand on his ticket to Tokyo now. He's really grabbed this by both horns. Phil Norman is going for it. He's got less than 300 metres to go, and he is motoring down that back straight. Can Phil Norman hold on? So much can change in the last 200 metres, but he's taking these barriers in their stride as if they're not even there. These barriers are proving little inconvenience for Phil Norman as he heads into what will be his final water jump in his bid to make the Tokyo World Championships in September. It's only about 24 days away, and Phil Norman now, this is his last attempt at what will be a major championships and a return to Tokyo. It's going to be close. I don't think he's going to get it. He's giving it absolutely everything, and the clock is now just ticking over. 8:15 has gone, 8:16, 8:17. He's just missed it. Heartbreak for Phil Norman, but he does come in 8:20. It's a massive season's best, but no world standard at Tooting BEC this evening.
No world standard, but it is a BMC record for Phil Norman. He has smashed the BMC record that was set by Christian Stevenson back in Solihull 25 years ago, almost to the day. So he's going to come away with a fat check. Maybe not the World Championship standard he was hoping for. That was, I think, a stretch. It's a season's best for Phil Norman, but that was some run in the final 650 metres to pull away from the rest of the field. Bearing in mind some of the guys there, like that man, Ben Buckingham, who has been within 2/10 of that 8:15 standard this season, literally 11 days ago, and Phil Norman has just blown them away here in Tooting BEC.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and I'm sure it'll be a bittersweet moment when he looks back on this race for that reason. It's a fantastic run, and if I'm honest, it's a little bit quicker than I thought he was going to go. I had in my head that he was perhaps looking around the 8:25 mark this evening, so absolutely fantastic to see him run so well and to really lay it all out there. You can't ask for much more from Phil Norman as a racer. He really does give it his all. But yeah, it will be bittersweet to know that he can beat these people that are so very close, and perhaps Ben Buckingham will be selected anyway. I'm not clued up on the Australian selection policies and how they'll deal with the invite from World Athletics, but it'll be a tricky one. But like you say, Scott, that fact check, it will certainly soften the blow.
Yeah, I mean, that's his 4th fastest time ever, so a cracking performance from Phil. He really did give it everything. Who knows what might happen in the future for him, but great performance. A great evening here